Well, I am talking today with Dallas Jenkins, who you already know is the director and creator of The Chosen. Dallas, thanks for taking time to talk to Plugged In today. We really appreciate having the opportunity to connect with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm always excited to talk to you guys.
Well, thank you. I know The Chosen season 4 had a great theatrical run. How do you think seeing it in theaters creates a different experience than just watching it at home?
Well, there's nothing that can match the experience of seeing it on the big screen with the surround sound and seeing it with other people. We had so many people talk about how at the end of episode 3, for example, when the credits started rolling, no one moved, no one made a sound. They just sat through the whole closing credits, experiencing the weight of what was happening together. When you can laugh together, when you can cry together and make friends. I mean, we have so many people again who watch, the episodes end and they walk out and there's something about a shared experience where they want to talk about it. And I think season 4 is especially conducive to that because it's just there's so much weight. We see Jesus, in season 3, he's giving rest to people who are weary and heavy laden. In season 4, he needs rest. He's weary and heavy laden. And when you see that portrayed multiple times throughout the season, it really connects you to the Savior of the world. And so the reports that we got from theaters and from viewers have been overwhelming. But that said, the majority of people are going to watch it at home or in church or on their phones, even, as much as that depresses me. But they're going to watch it at home, and that's going to be an impactful experience as well. It's not like the people who missed it in theaters are going to miss out on the storytelling. This is still the greatest story ever told, regardless of whether you're watching in your home or whether you're watching it in a theater.
All right. Well, you mentioned season 4, and I know people are anxious for a definitive update. What can you tell us about when this will be available to stream in its entirety? Season 4, that is.
Well, as I talk to you at this moment, we are any day. I mean, we are at the pregnancy is about to end and the baby is about to be born. We just don't know the exact moment. So we are waiting to hear. It literally could be today. It could be any day. The moment that happens, and that could be by the time that our conversation airs, I'm going to make an announcement, and I will say, look, we've gotten the decision from the arbitrator. We now have full clarity, and season 4 is coming to the Chosen app. It'll probably be several days, just a few days after we make the announcement. So the first episode 1 of season 4 will be released on the first Sunday after the announcement, after we get the decision. So, and then we'll be releasing it twice a week. So Sundays and Thursdays. So faster than we normally release it, 2 episodes per week. And then those who have the DVDs, and we're going to be shipping those the moment we get the news, they'll be able to watch all 8 episodes. So if you're an old school person who maybe is a little technologically behind everybody else, the last shall be first. In this case, you'll get a chance to watch the entire season at once if you have a DVD player.
I love that you're bringing Jesus into things in terms of how it's going to be released. I know that The Chosen is already streaming earlier seasons a number of different places. It's been on CW recently. It's been on Disney Plus. It's on the app. It's other places. What would you say that increased availability has meant for the show and its popularity? Because it seems like every time you get a new platform, potentially you're getting a new audience. Is that correct? Would you say, Dallas?
Oh, it's undeniable. I mean, in the last year, the show, the awareness of the show, the viewership of the show has literally doubled from what it was in the previous 5 years. And there's just an immense amount of people around the world who just don't want to get a new app, or they don't, they want to watch it where they typically watch most of their entertainment. And so we've been so far happy to get it out to as many different platforms as possible. And that has made a huge difference. I mean, honestly, just today, I wake up and I'm getting texts from people who note that Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton are tweeting about how they're obsessed with the show. And they're so excited about it. And that's reaching, again, millions of people who might not have otherwise heard about it. And Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton wouldn't have seen the show on the Chosen app.
Right.
They're going to watch it in their usual places where they watch entertainment. And so This is a biblical principle. We don't
Hmm.
hide our light under a bushel. We do try to get it out to as many people as possible. And anyone who is willing and able to get this show into places that we wouldn't be able to ourselves and to people who might not otherwise consider it is a positive for us.
Hmm.
And so we've been excited about it, and we hope that that continues. And it seems like it's going to.
Well, you're now shooting season 5 of 7 planned seasons, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm curious, what stays the same and what changes with each additional season? I'm sure that there are some things like, oh yeah, we get into the rhythm and this is the way it works, but there's probably changes too. So what stays the same and what's different?
Well, what's different is the scope is increasing with each season. And now that's not necessarily because we happen to have more opportunities or more resources. We're each year, I feel like we can never fully catch up to what we
Hmm.
need. That said, as the story progresses and Jesus's ministry builds, and as he heads towards Jerusalem, the setting is bigger. The sets that we need to portray the different the expansion of the ministry, it just increases. You can't just keep everything in Capernaum like we had in season 1, where we were shooting out in the middle of nowhere, Texas, with this woman who owns this Capernaum studios that she built for short films and tours. And so we had to film everything in that place because we didn't have any other options. Well, now, we expand into Jerusalem and into Bethany and into Rome at times. I mean, we've really got to expand the story. And so that's for sure, the story gets bigger and the emotions get bigger and the scope is bigger. That said, I say this all the time, and it's true. Whether one person is watching, like season 1, where we didn't know who was going to watch the show, or it's
Hmm.
100 people or 1 million people, or now it's well over 100 million people watching the show.
Hmm.
That doesn't change what we're doing on set. At the end of the day, it's ultimately me with the actors breaking down the scripts that were written on a laptop in a bedroom or in a living room. And we are still just trying to accurately capture the spirit and intentions of Jesus and the Gospels.
Hmm.
And that will never change. And God have mercy on my soul if I ever start thinking about the audience or the size of the audience or trying to avoid criticism or gain praise or live up to the
Hmm.
pressure of the previous season or live up to the fact that there's more people watching now. That doesn't matter. What matters is the work. And so that continues to be the same. We're still just trying to get the art and the entertainment and the spiritual obligations that we have. If we get that right, everything else will take care of itself.
Well, I think that's a good segue into my last question. I would love to hear if you have any recent or even new stories about how The Chosen continues to help people come to know Jesus, because I know that's ultimately your heartbeat. What have you heard recently where you've been like, wow, that's an amazing story?
I just got a text from a friend last week who said she was on a podcast that's geared towards prison ministry. So the podcast is
Hmm.
hosted by a couple of people, one of whom was formerly in prison, and the show has continued to grow significantly in prisons
Hmm.
because they're able to watch it on an app that is specifically for prisons. And there's multiple prison ministries that are getting the show into prisons. And she said that one of the people who's hosting the podcast outright said, "I came to Christ through The Chosen."
Wow.
We're seeing people in prisons who have felt so cast aside, so distant from the world. And some of that is their own, making. Obviously, they
Sure.
made choices that got them there. But to see a show that portrays the savior of the world as someone who was also in poverty, someone who was also rejected, followed by people who were just like these prisoners, who were struggling, who had poverty, who had oppression, who made choices that were not always correct, who were sinners, and who were ultimately chosen by God, chosen by Jesus to follow and to lead the church. There's something about it that is taking these figures down from stained glass windows, down from statues,
Hmm.
down from paintings, and reminding us that they were living, breathing human beings. And because these viewers can identify with the questions, the struggles, the doubts, the mistakes of the people in this show, they can identify with the answer and the solution to these questions and struggles. And that never stops wrecking me when I hear these stories of
Hmm.
even the least of these, even the people who we don't normally associate with faith are having their lives changed, and it's been extraordinary.
I love that. I love that you're able to share that with us. And I know we are short on time today. So, Dallas, thanks so much for taking some time to talk to our plugged in audience today. We look forward to the full streaming release of season 4. And of course, looking forward already to the release of season 5. Thanks, Dallas.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.